Mealy, it's tax time again.
Yay!
What are the biggest changes that we have to take into account when it comes to filing our taxes?
Okay. Well, I would just like to firstly explain that under the self-assessment system that we are currently in, the tax return filed with the Inner Revenue Board is deemed a notice of assessment. Okay, so what this means is that we need to ensure that all the information that we declare in the tax return, as well as the computation of the tax liability, is correct. Okay, so I guess in order to minimize our taxes, it is very important for all of us to be aware of all the changes that have been announced in relation to the scope of reliefs, as well as tax exemptions that are available for us to claim. Yeah. So I would say that when we are filing our tax return for this year, which is for year of assessment 2020, meaning for income earned during the calendar year 2020, we need to be aware of the types of personal reliefs and tax exemptions that we are all available to claim.
Did they increase or did they? Because it was a tough year last year.
Yes. So generally speaking, the reliefs has been expanded, as well as there has been an increase in the quantum, as well as there are a couple of new reliefs that have been announced. Okay, so to answer your question, no, they have not taken away any of the personal reliefs that were in existence, but in fact, some of the quantum has been increased.
Okay, if you could take us through that then, and sort of
what exactly specifically, without getting into too deep specifics,
or the biggest changes.
Yeah, the biggest changes.
The biggest changes, I would say that for individual taxpayers like you and myself, right? I would think that this is something that is very commonly applicable to most of us. Would be at the moment, all of us may be aware that we have a lifestyle relief, right? That we can claim. The amount is up to 2,500 ringgit. Okay, and this lifestyle relief is available for purchase of books, personal computer, smartphone or tablet, as well as internet subscription and gym subscription. Okay, so what has happened is that firstly, this lifestyle relief of 2,000 up to 2,500 has been expanded to include subscription for electronic newspaper.
Okay? Oh, right.
Yeah, so most of us may not be aware of that. The current relief is actually for printed newspaper, okay, printed reading materials.
Got it.
So for YA Year of Assessment 2020, you can actually include subscription for e-newspaper as part of the claim for this lifestyle relief.
Because also partly everything's gone online, and then there's a subscription there. Might as well go get it. It should be part of it. Yeah.
But is that still at 2005 cap then?
Yes.
But including this, okay.
Yeah, including this. But there is also a special relief that has been announced. Actually, this was announced as part of the Penjana incentive package. Due to the pandemic and people having to work from home, right? So this special relief is now given for the purchase of smartphone, personal computer, or a tablet. Okay, provided that these gadgets are not used for own business purposes. Okay, so the amount of relief is also up to a maximum of 2,500. Okay, and this is in addition to the lifestyle relief that you can claim. But this is only for the purchase that I mentioned, a purchase for laptop or a tablet or a smartphone that happens between 1st of June 2020 to 31st December 2020. So this is confined to this period whereby if you have purchased any of these gadgets, right, you can claim a relief, a special relief for the cost, but it is capped at 2,500 ringgit.
Did you?
I didn't buy it last year. I had to buy it this year.
Man.
So I hope that they're going to bring it over again, because I had to buy it for my son this year. But that's also already in the e-filing online, is it? There's a thing you can tick. Okay.
Yes,
for fools like me.
Yeah, but the thing that I wish to highlight is that this special relief, if you claim it, you cannot claim it again under the existing lifestyle relief. Okay, so
What do you
there's
mean
no
by that?
double claim. You can't claim under this separate reliefs that you have. Okay, so this is to avoid double claim on the same purchase.
Right.
Okay.
Got that.
All right.
But do note that this special relief is only for year of assessment 2020, because as I mentioned earlier, it is only applicable for purchases made from 1st of June until December last year.
Right.
Shame. Okay, anything else big that we should be taking note of?
Well, okay, the other change or increase in relief would be for relief for childcare, fees paid to childcare centers or kindergartens, okay, for children aged 6 and below. So what happened is that the existing quantum of 2,000 ringgit is now increased to 3,000 ringgit. So if you do send your child to a registered childcare center or a registered kindergarten, then the relief available is now has now been increased to 3,000 ringgit.
Is this because of the pandemic? Is this all part of the Penjana?
No, this is not part of the Penjana, but I guess it is more for a I think the government has taken note that the the cost of sending children to kindergartens and as well as childcare center is actually quite high, and therefore the increase is given for that purpose. Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, because childcare, because most of us are working from home anyway. That means we don't have to have, or last year anyway, right? But for pandemic purposes specifically, anything from the pandemic that was part of the relief that we can actually claim for this time around?
Apart from the special relief that I mentioned earlier, right? So there is also a relief that is given to promote domestic tourism. Okay.
Right.
So this relief is up to 1,000 ringgit if you were to travel domestically. Okay. But
were we allowed to travel to? Oh yeah, we
in Spates and Spats.
Yeah, we were allowed to. So some people did go to Langkawi and stuff like this. I remember. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the condition is that the expenditure must be incurred between 1st March 2020 up to 31st December 2021. So we still have time to take advantage of this relief, provided that the interstate travel restriction is lifted.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that means 31st December this year, 2021.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, I see.
Okay.
So how does
but you can still go for holiday within, say, state of Selangor.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means from June till the end of last year, we're gonna put that into our tax, and then, or is that just we can get a relief from that directly in our tax?
You're talking about the same relief that I'm talking about now?
Yeah, for the travel one, yeah.
Okay, as I mentioned, you must incur the expenditure between 1st March 2020 to 31st December 2021.
Okay.
So for year of assessment 2020, then you will take note of the expenditure that you incur between 1st March 2020 to 31st December 2020.
Right.
Okay, because we are assessed on the calendar year basis.
Yeah, but for this year, I mean, for next year when we claim, it's going to be from the 1st Jan 2021 all the way to the end of the year. I see.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but of course, it's subject to other conditions. For example, that the accommodation or hotel that you're staying in, right, must be registered with the Ministry of Tourism. Okay. So, and the
so people stayed in some dodgy homestay tak kira lah, right?
Yeah, unless they are registered with the Ministry of Tourism.
Right.
Okay, so you can actually claim the cost of accommodation plus the entrance fee to tourist attraction.
I see. Because ultimately, I think the whole point of that was to spur the economy back into action for hotels and also all these tourism hotspots, right? I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Right.
What about for sort of parents or even spouses? Are there any incentives there that have changed or?
Oh no, so far no. The available relief is still the same. Actually, what I'm highlighting today is in respect of year of assessment 2020.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but of course there were several changes that will affect year of assessment 2021. Okay, which is next year's filing.
Right. Right.
Okay.
But for
So we are
2020,
not touching on those yet, right?
Not yet, not
yeah,
yet.
no,
Just,
not really.
yeah.
Okay, but
Because sorry, Karen.
no, but a big part, a big thing that we always worry about is insurance, medical, personal, or whatever it is, right? So, how does that always play in? Because we're always encouraged to buy insurance, have insurance. How does that really play into a relief for taxes?
Okay, you can claim a relief for life insurance premium, as well as there's also premium for medical and education
Right.
that you can claim a relief for. Okay, so the relief is available, and as you mentioned, as you have asked, separate relief. These are separate relief. Okay, so there's a separate relief for life insurance premium, and there is also a separate relief for education or medical insurance premium. Yeah.
Is that a significant or is there a
Change?
cap in how much we should be buying in terms of insurance? Like how much can we get
Um.
back out of it? 'Cause ultimately,
Okay.
that's what we care most, right? We gotta pay as little tax as possible.
Yeah, insurance for life insurance. Okay, insurance for medical or education is up to 3,000 ringgit.
Okay.
Whereas for life insurance premium, I think it is.
Is there a cap?
Yeah, there is a cap. So
That'd be great if there was no cap.
Yeah.
no, there is a cap. I have just slipped my mind for a second. How much the relief is for?
No worries, no worries. But ultimately, it's there to encourage people to buy insurance because obviously you want to be able to go to a hospital, you want to go to the clinic.
Taken care of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. With insurance, that's the whole point of it, right?
Yes, correct.
Especially this past year and this coming year.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Any other incentives or changes to, what's been the norm for the past few years? I mean, just for 2020.
Sorry, come again?
Any other incentives or changes for 2020 that we should be aware of?
That was very different to what was before.
In terms of the relief, are you
Yeah,
referring to
mainly
relief?
incentives and relief. We don't care about everything
Yeah.
else.
Okay, sorry. Can I just go back to your question on the relief
Insurance.
for insurance premium? Yeah,
Yep,
it's
yep,
up
yep.
to 3,000 ringgit.
Okay.
Sorry?
3,000 ringgit.
3,000 ring as well. So, okay, once again, this is to encourage you to buy insurance, to get insurance for yourself, because if things were to happen to you, and last year a lot of things actually happened. I mean, with the pandemic, people were going to the clinic, right? You need to have insurance to go to hospital. If not, it's scary how much you're probably going to have to pay. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
All right. So coming back to your question, any changes you were saying?
Any other changes?
Apart from this few, no, but there is a new tax exemption that is given to individuals who make an investment in equity crowdfunding.
Really? How does that work?
How does that work? Okay, this exemption is given where you make an investment in equity crowdfunding platform that is approved by the Securities Commission of Malaysia.
Okay.
Okay. But the investment must be made from 1st of January 2021 until 31st December 2023. Okay, so there's a 3-year period for you to make the investment. The other condition is that the investment cannot be disposed of within 2 years from the date you make the investment. Okay. So how this tax exemption works is that the exemption is given you claim this exemption against your aggregate income, all right? And the amount that you can claim is equivalent to 50% of the amount of investment that you have made.
Okay.
So for example, if you made an investment of 60,000 ringgit,
yep.
Okay, so 50% of that, which is 30,000 ringgit, you can actually set it off against your aggregate income for the year, so that in effect, it is reducing your chargeable income at the end of the year.
Yeah,
okay,
because
for
money
people who
went
don't
out.
understand that, can you explain that?
So let's just say, basically, if I earn 100,000 for the whole year, let's just say, right, and I put in 60,000 ringgit of investments for this crowdfunding thing, I technically didn't make 100,000. I only made 70,000 because.
Oh, so it's
right?
it's
Is
basically,
that basically what it is?
I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I put money in, right? Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. So, but the other condition that you must remember is that although the amount that you can claim is 50% of the investment that you have made for the year, there's a cap to it. There's a cap to how much you can actually claim for each year, and the cap is at 50,000 ringgit.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, for example, if you were to make an investment of say 200,000 ringgit,
you still only get 50,000 back.
Yes. So the maximum that you can claim an exemption for is up to 50,000 ringgit.
So basically, if you're going to invest in crowdfunding, put it all the way to 100,000.
Yeah, no, and no more. Yeah, smart. Okay, fantastic. Got that down in my notes. Okay.
All right.
Mealy, with so many individuals who lost their jobs in 2020, what does this mean for their individual tax files? Do they still have to submit their taxes?
Oh, the answer is yes. Yeah. For example, for those who have lost their jobs, full-time jobs during the year, right? They would have still have earned some income, employment income, right? And after that, they may have gotten a part-time job or even be self-employed. Okay, so the thing to note is that you've got to declare all the income that you earn throughout the calendar year 2020. Okay, and this could be from various sources, including rental. If you have a house and you rent it out, the rental income is also accessible to tax. Okay, so if, for example, if you do not have any income at all for the year, but you have already, or rather, if you do not have any chargeable income for the year, but tax deductions have been made from your salary, right? Perhaps you have worked for a short period of time.
Yep.
Last year. Then it's also necessary to file the tax return so that at least you can get a refund of the tax.
Right. But then you actually mean what pembayaran berjadwal or the PCB thing, where
PCB,
because
the monthly tax deduction.
Yeah, because you don't actually get the complete full salary, right? Part of it actually goes there, so you're paying your taxes according to monthly.
Right. So then you get perhaps some relief that way.
So you're probably gonna get it back because you don't hit that limit
margin
or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's always advisable to submit your taxes then.
And sort of
interesting.
Yeah. I suppose there's always that thing of putting 00 down.
Can you?
Whether or not can you put?
Do you have? Let's say you don't get another job for another year. Let's say 2021, you also don't have a job. Do you put 000 in your aggregate income?
Yes, you file a nil return. You do.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because like in some forms, I don't know, I haven't tried this. I'm still in the middle of doing mine. As I was saying, can you even put 00? Because in some you have to put some number, even if it's just one down. You know.
No, you can put a 0. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Mm.
So, Amelia, what's your advice to those like myself who are doing the taxes today, which I believe is the last day that we can submit online? But I'm having technical issues with mine, so I think that's my excuse rather.
Really? Okay.
Reason. I mean reason. So, what's your advice to those who are doing their taxes today?
Well, as you said, do not wait until the last minute.
So some of us incurred technical issues.
Okay, you see, as I mentioned earlier, under the self-assessment system that we are currently in, we have to ensure that the tax return that we submit is correct, is accurate,
Yeah.
right? Because if we file an incorrect tax return, whereby if we were to underdeclare our income, or if we were to overclaim reliefs or tax exemptions, for example, then there will be penalties to be imposed for the filing of an incorrect tax return. Okay, so bearing in mind having to bear that in mind, right? So therefore, one of the most important things that I would mention is that we must keep supporting documents to substantiate whatever reliefs that we are claiming or whatever tax exemptions that we want to claim. Yeah, so the supporting documents would be in the form of receipts or invoices. Okay. And we need to keep all the supporting documents for at least 7 years for audit purposes.
Right.
Yeah. So,
so what happens?
That would be.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go on, Ansha.
No, carry on, Karen.
Because what happened is that during a tax audit, right, Inner Revenue Department, or rather the Inner Revenue Board, they do conduct tax audits from time to time on individual taxpayers. So one of the areas that they will be looking at would be to look at evidence, or supporting documents to support the claims that have been made by the individual. So as I mentioned, keeping adequate documentation is very important. Yeah.
What happens, for example, if you've filed your tax returns, right, and you've made an honest mistake? I'm not, I don't know what mistake that could be, but you've made an honest mistake there, and you sort of realize it perhaps after the fact. Are you able to sort of go back and go and do you go and see them about what's happened, or can you?
Yes, you can submit an amended tax return, to rectify the errors.
Right.
But as far as I know, the amended tax return needs to be submitted manually. Okay,
right.
So you can't do it online.
Okay.
You have to submit it manually, and I would say that it's best to go to the IRB branch that handles your tax file, right? Submit it and inform the Inner Revenue Board that a mistake has been made, and hence this is your amended tax return.
Right.
Okay.
Be honest is a takeaway from there.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
be honest, be very honest. Right. Millie, what's your advice to those who are doing their taxes today? Anything else?
Apart from having adequate documentation, of course, the other thing is to make sure that we maximize our claim for available reliefs. So we have to go through the list and to make sure that we actually claim the maximum reliefs that we are able to claim. And apart from that, don't wait till the last minute. And also another point to note is that if there is a balance of tax payable, once you compute your final tax liability, and if, let's say, if you're an employee, your tax deducted from salary is not sufficient, to cover the tax liability for the year, then the balance of the tax must be paid on or before the filing due date as well. Okay. Otherwise, there will be a 10% penalty for late payment of the tax.
I did not know that. So basically, if your tax is more than, that's taken off, or there's a balance, whatever the situation, you're supposed to pay that before the 30th as well?
Filing due date for e-filing is 15 May. Okay. So what happened is that
That's for everybody, 15th of May.
for individuals who do not have a business source of income. All right. So I'm talking about those who are filing Form BE.
Right.
So the extended filing due date is 15 May. So whatever balance of tax that that is due, we have to pay latest by 15 May.
All right. So that's one. The flip side of that is, let's say you overpaid taxes so your company's accountant or whatever it is made you pay more tax than you should have. How soon do you get your money back? Because some people have lost their jobs, they want their money back and everything, right? So how soon generally do you get your money back?
Okay, just before I answer your question, you're talking about a tax refund position, right?
Yes.
Yes. That could also happen where we, as a result of a claim for personal relief. Okay.
Yes.
So if we have a whole list of reliefs that we can claim, right? Ultimately, it may end up in a situation where a tax refund is applicable. Okay, so that's why it's always good to file a tax return, especially as I said, maximize your claim for relief, right? Because at the end of the day, you could end up in a refund position.
Yeah, because I mean, it could be anything. It could be insurance. The big ones, right? Mainly the ones that make a difference is insurance. The big ones probably would be the lifestyle one.
The lifestyle.
Books doesn't really make a difference, do they?
Books is included in the lifestyle relief of 2005
Okay.
that I mentioned about. Yeah. So, but as I mentioned, the lifestyle relief applies to a combination of expenditure.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Okay.
It's not just books, but it also includes, for example, your gym.
All right.
And
what about also like charities?
Charity is different. It is not a relief per se, but it is a deduction that you can claim, provided that your donation is made to an approved organization.
But is there a cap for that? Like if I give to multiple organizations?
Oh yes, there is a cap, which I believe is up to 10% of your aggregate income.
Oh really? Oh, I see. So I'm asking only because you want to give more money to charity, right? The more
so it's nice to know that.
Yeah, so at least they're rewarding you for being charitable as well, right?
Yes, but you need to substantiate the deduction with an official receipt.
Yep.
Yeah, and the official receipt must show that the organization that you are contributing to has an approved exemption status.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So generally always go with the big ones, right? National Kidney Foundation, whatever it is, right? Or UNICEF.
Not necessarily, because there are many organizations that have been approved as an approved organization.
Right.
Okay. So one way to tell is that you can look at the receipt, and the approved organization would need to indicate the approval number, okay, on the receipt. Yeah. So that's one way to find out whether or not the donation is approved.
Right.
I've got one question. Obviously, with this pandemic hitting, a lot of people have had to take all manner of courses to sort of upskill. They've been doing that, been able to do that. Under the sort of education side of things, you can claim for these things, can't you?
Yes, you can. You can.
And does it matter if the course isn't necessarily academic per se? Because a lot of people sort of upskilling, say, for example, baking courses, because they need to open up their own home baking company, for example. Is that something considered, as education?
There are some rules to that, and basically, the courses, the approved courses, relate to technical and vocational type of courses. Yeah. So I think a baking course may not qualify,
Right.
unfortunately. Yes.
Okay. All right. So one final question. Actually, we just want to get your thoughts on this, right? For
Mm.
people who have not been submitting their taxes for many years already, let's just say, right? And then this year they had like conscious gets them. What happens then? Do they need to go back on all their taxes, and or do they declare it, or how does that work?
Yes, technically they should. They should file the past year's tax returns to declare the appropriate income earned for each of the respective years.
Right.
Mm.
Because I'm thinking if you submit your tax this year, and then it goes in, and then
You haven't submitted for
you've,
other years.
you've never
yeah.
submitted before, you're probably gonna be flagged, right?
Yes,
Right.
definitely.
So pay your
Definitely.
taxes every year. That's the safest thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just have to say, like, if you've got any questions or whatever, like, I've found the Inland Revenue Department to be the most helpful and patient department, you know, answering your questions. They're super helpful.
Yeah.
So, like, don't be afraid of not knowing,
You know why?
like me.
You know why?
I know they want your money. But the thing is, if you want my money and I have to give my money, I'd rather talk to someone who's helpful, right?
That is true. That is true. All right. But Mimi, thank you so much for having a chat with us and clearing some questions that we had on tax season. But it is a time for you to submit your taxes, and it is your responsibility to do so. So please do so for the benefit of the whole nation.
Mhm.